Hey, my name is Pinky Ghelani, and you are watching Pinky TV. This is What Women Want, and we are on season 3 of the same, and the theme is all about unlearning. These conversations are brought to you by SBM Bank, and if you are on Facebook, make sure you leave a comment. Let us know where you are watching from. If this topic touches you, which I'm sure it will do, make sure you tag a friend to watch it as well. If you are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you are amongst the first to catch episodes like this. Today, our guest is Sharon Korir. Chamgay.
Chamgay everything.
So my house help are Kalenjin, which is why I know a little bit of mommy. I know mommy is nothing or not there.
I am mommy.
Yes, mommy. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. So Sharon, on this show, we encourage our guests to introduce themselves. We're teaching our audiences to unlearn being introduced and completely owning who you are. So please introduce yourself to our audience.
Oh, can I? Thank you, Ghelani, for having me. It's actually a privilege to be here today. My name is Sharon Korir. I'm a mother of 2 sons. Yeah, I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm also a teacher of law in an international school. I'm a founder, Save a Woman Fistula Foundation. Yeah.
That's who you are?
That's who I am.
Okay, that's really interesting. So we thank you for being here, and we thank you for your time today. We're talking about a very sensitive subject, but before we get into that, I'd just like to know a little bit more about who Sharon is, and you know, your upbringing. What was it like growing up? Do you have siblings? Was it a happy childhood?
Yeah, well, okay, I love to swim. Yeah, that's what I really love to swim. I'm one of those people who started swimming off when we were really young. Yeah, because at that time, my dad used to work in the tea industry.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were brought up in James Freeley, and my dad was part of the management. So we had the privileges here and there of knowing how to swim and so many others. I was raised up in a more closed-in family because we were in the tea industry. We weren't really like the nearest neighbor was really far off. Huh? But you had to drive off. So we raised up only as family and very, very, very close knit. And you know, we had 3 girls. My home, we had 3 girls. My dad has 3 daughters. And my mom and dad divorced earlier, I think about in the 90s, 92, when we were still young. Wow. So we were actually parented by my dad single-handedly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
you know, in 1992, you'd hardly hear of people getting divorced.
Exactly.
How did that impact you?
Wow, it was a blow. Okay, it was a major blow.
How old were you first?
I was in class 2, probably 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, probably 7, turning 8. It was hard, especially in a society like Kericho, where I was from Kericho. I'm actually from Kericho County. I was born and brought up in Kericho. Yeah.
My head went to Kericho.
Beautiful, yeah.
Go on, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so Kericho, being from a divorce home, it's not easy, for one. First, it was unheard of, as you said. Secondly, it was hard because we were still really young. And you'd find that even in school, you'd find teachers asking you, why did mommy go? What happened to mommy and daddy? So you're like, really? There's a teacher who actually asked me that, and I actually got to forgive her the other day when I had my son. Literally carrying a grudge over asking me why my parents are divorced. So that really, divorce is painful. I would say divorce is really painful, especially for the children. The change, not seeing your parents anymore, issues you can hear one but more thing the other. It's not easy. I must say it's not easy. Families conflict. You can't have your cousins coming in as often as they used to. Life changes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not easy.
And like you said, you carried it into your adult life as well.
Yeah.
And did you do anything purposefully to sort of heal yourself from that trauma?
I think even having told my sisters when we were growing up how our one teacher asked me about my mommy and daddy and so many other questions in between. I didn't heal then, even talking about it with my own sisters. But I think it got to a point where after I gave birth to my firstborn son, I had to decide to let go of baggage to move on. Yeah. Okay. I had to decide that I needed to forgive so that I can be, you know, when you forgive for yourself. Yes. So that you feel like you're opened up.
You're released.
You're released.
Yes.
So I had to do that. Even some of our relatives also, who were very sarcastic about it, who went talking about it badly, you know, bad-mouthing my parents and all that. So it was a process I had to forgive. And eventually, thank God I did, because I think it's also with prayer. I believe in God. It really helped at that time. Yeah.
I think it's important that you communicate with the higher being. Yeah, and there was a guest just in before you, and she was saying that when you speak to God, you know, somehow or the other, you're shown the way.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because I was so bitter with God. I used to ask him that, God, I prayed when I was in high school. I was in Pangani Girls here in Nairobi. And moments after our dinner, we used to have about an hour of Jumanji, like just sharing, just praying on your own and you know, praying before you go for preps. Preps is like studying time before you go for night, you know, for sleep and all that, in the dormitories and all that. So at that time, I used to really pray a lot, and I asked God, why did you have to allow divorce? And why didn't you have my parents to, you know, come, you know, reconcile? Because people separate and then they reconcile, and then the drama is always there. Family is not smooth. So I kept asking God, why did you have to do this? If, you know, we prayed about it, you know, we've been wanting our parents to be together. And I'm those daughters who were so attached to both of my parents. I see my sister, the older one and the young one, not really. But then it's not a big deal. They found a way of some coping mechanism to deal with it. For me, I got stomach ulcers. I was so hurt. I wish, you know, I was so hurt. Then, of course, having my dad coming in with a stepmother wasn't easy.
Wow. So
it's different, you know. So for me, it wasn't really easy at that time, yeah, for sure.
What was your stepmother like? Was she a good person? You don't have to answer that if you don't.
Stepmothers will always be stepmothers.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, stepmothers will always be stepmothers, yeah.
So you're a mom of 2?
Yes.
And your eldest is how old?
My eldest is 10, turning 11 in October.
Ah, really? Wow,
yeah.
that's lovely.
Very lovely.
And your youngest?
He's 3, turning 4 in May next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So first delivery was normal, pregnancy was normal, everything was okay?
Yeah. First pregnancy was okay, completely. I remember at that time I hadn't even gone to do my advocate training program. I've just finished my law school. And I just get, my boyfriend gets me pregnant, and we are going home for daddy paying and all that. And the baby comes and things flow. And I was okay, completely. No complications. Baby was normal, 3.3 kilos. A very healthy birth. With normal delivery, no complication at all.
Okay. And then along comes your baby number 2.
Yeah.
And this is where your world sort of changes. It goes upside down a little bit.
Yeah.
And you now become a messenger for other women.
Yeah.
Talk us through your pregnancy and what happened. At what point you knew something was wrong, and what happened thereafter?
Yeah. When I was about 7 months pregnant, I had, right from 6 months, I had pain on my leg, yeah. I had crazy pain on my leg to the point where I was 7 months. So I had to see an orthopedic, specialist orthopedic, yeah, who told me that I had sciatica. Yeah, so sciatica is a pain that is in a nerve pain, yes, that happens on the leg and all that. So at that time I couldn't walk. Life changed. I had to do, you know, crutches.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. So I had to go. At that time I was a lecturer in Kenya Institute of Management in town. So you can imagine going up the stairs with crutches every morning and back, and doing the, you know, about winding up the contract, because, you know, they had to finish the, you know, the semester for exams, then I would go on maternity leave. So it was really, really crazy. And then change, you know, your tummy is all bulged out, the pain, the suppression, the crazy pain and all that. Then for the 7 to 9 months, that was my experience. Then when I delivered my baby, sadly, even during the delivery process, my doctor came in late. So I was tired, you know, the way women labor and the pain and all that. Yes. So baby came out forcefully. Oh. Baby came out forcefully, took completely my vaginal wall, connected to the rectum. So there was a hole. Yeah. So with that, now my muscles were completely torn out. I couldn't be able to hold urine. I couldn't be able to hold fecal matter.
But you didn't know this?
At that time, I was overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed because baby was not okay.
Yes.
My second baby was totally yellow abnormally.
Yes.
Completely yellow. And so the doctor had seen that this baby has high levels, probably high levels of jaundice. So we had to do a lot of phototherapy in the nursery. Okay. So we did a lot of phototherapy, and they kept checking the bilirubin levels. So as they checked the bilirubin levels day by day, they realized that they're going higher and higher and higher. So the pediatrician said the only way out is to have this baby go through blood exchange, because these high levels of bilirubins can make the baby get cerebral palsy or autism.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when that time now is when baby had to go through blood exchange. Blood was removed from his system. Fresh blood was put into his system. It's a blood exchange, a very invasive procedure for a 3-day-old.
3 days?
3 days, yeah.
And as a mother, what goes through your mind?
I was traumatized. Pinky, you cannot imagine. I was so stressed. I was so depressed. I was so scared. I was so anxious. And then I'm wondering, what is all this? You know, sciatica. Then again, you know, having this issue of my baby going through all this pain, and then they keep pricking babies. They keep pricking to get removed on their toes. They get to get the lab tests so that they can know the levels of bilirubins. So the baby who kept crying was always in pain, and then at some point, baby had to be fed with tubes because of being constantly in the phototherapy machine, and even through the process because we had to be in some bit of oxygen, even as the blood exchange and all that ensued after. Yeah.
So this went on for how long?
21 days. So in hospital for 21 days, and I think for about 14 days. Then the other 7 days was just to monitor how the blood is doing with the baby and monitoring how the baby is doing and all that. So eventually after 7 days, we were discharged. Very happy mother is discharged with her baby, a newborn baby. Yeah. So I was really happy to go back home. Yeah.
And how is baby now?
My son is okay completely. He's bubbly. He's just joined school, so play group, I think reception class.
How old is he now?
He's 3 turning 4.
Okay.
Yeah, he's actually 3 years turning 4 next month. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then this was just the beginning of a journey for you now.
Yeah.
All right. So you take baby home, you're all happy, you're getting on with life, you're thanking God that this baby's okay.
Yeah.
What happens then?
So here I am. What happens in our homes in this? I think it's more. I don't know whether it's the Kalenjin thing or the African thing or Kenyan thing. When you deliver your baby, you stay indoors in the bedroom. Yeah. You know, trying to heal. You know, you're trying to heal, and then also at the same time to bond with your baby, breastfeed and energize, because you know the delivery is very exhausting. Yeah. So most of the time we're in the bedroom, and I realized, how come I keep oozing out, you know, discharge, I keep oozing out poop and urine, and then how come it's interchanged? How come I'm releasing poop or fecal matter from my vagina?
Wow.
And then I'm smelling, you know, like I'm actually smelling. Yeah. You know, then at that time I was traumatized. I'm thinking, I think I've gone crazy because of postnatal depression or something.
So that's what you were thinking?
Yeah. Or what is it? Is it that I've been in hospital for too long? Have I gone through too much pain to a point that I'm a bit psycho or something? Because how come poop is discharged out from my vagina and you know the interchange of organs, and how come I cannot be able to hold? So at that time I consulted with the nurse who was there where we had delivered the baby, and the nurse kept telling me, just do what? Just keep doing Kegels, do Kegel exercises, you'll be fine. So I did that for a couple of weeks, about 6 weeks or about 2 months or so, and the same thing. And at that time I became withdrawn. I'm thinking, who do I tell? Should I call my sisters and share? I'm like, no. I feel like I don't even know who to tell what I'm going through, because I just think I've lost it, you know. So I kept it off, and I was so stressed about it, to a point now I had to share with my sister-in-law who's a nurse in Kenyatta Hospital. And I told her, you know what, this is what I'm going through, and this is what is coming out, and this is how I feel about it. So she tells me she suspects I have fistula. And she even updated me that the Kenyatta Hospital that season was doing fistula screening, so I need to get checked so that I can be able to get help.
Okay, so before you know go into how you've started to find healing, for those of us who don't understand what fistula is, maybe you can elaborate on what it is and how many women are affected by it.
Wow. Okay, thank you, Ghelani. Fistula is purposely there's what you call obstetric fistula, birth after birth. Yeah. So obstetric fistula is that tear that is down the vagina. So the tear extends all the way to the rectum. So there's a hole. So when that happens, a woman cannot be able to hold urine and fecal matter, because what tears is the muscles. So you cannot be able to hold urine and fecal matter. Then again, apart from just giving birth, obstetric fistula, what we you know, the normal birth and the effects and getting fistula, there are women and girls who get fistula through childbirth, early childbirths. There are those who get through female genital mutilation. Yes. There are those who get through radiotherapy, cancer patients who go through radiotherapy, they start discharging urine and fecal matter. Okay. Yeah. So most of these are the 3 causes of fistula, plus plus giving birth and all that.
Wow. So, I mean, it's very interesting because it's in a very intimate area that we are not supposed to be talking about.
Exactly.
We're not supposed to be, you know, even seeking for help down there because, you know, how dare you? So what happens to you then? You know, now you're like, okay, fine, I can go for this clinic and I can find treatment. So you show up at Kenyatta and they tell you, and you feel like, okay, this is what I have. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so what are the next steps? Now you've not even told your sisters about this. What's going through your mind?
So what I did at that time is I went after the screening, and I was told that I have rectovaginal fistula. I was told that they offer free services in Kenyatta for surgery. And then again, I'm thinking, how can I have my baby at home and I'm in Kenyatta and my baby is really tiny? So I was referred to a doctor, Dr. Kisa Wakaseka. He's a fistula surgeon, you know, specific and what fistula work exactly. So I managed to talk to him, and he has a clinic in Hurlingham, family healthcare clinic. So I managed to see him a couple of sessions, and then now I did surgery privately.
Yes.
Yeah, in a private clinic.
Yeah.
So I did the surgery, and sadly.
Yes, go on. I'm listening.
Yeah, sadly you'll find that most of these hospitals do not offer insurance covers or rather, most of these insurance covers don't offer fistula.
Okay.
So we had to find a way of, get finances on and all that, which we did, and I got the surgery, and I'm fine now.
So what was the surgery like? What happened when you go through the surgery? Sorry, I hope it's not too many details. It's just so we need to understand.
Yeah, totally. So what happens is that that morning, what happened actually that morning, we went for surgery. They had to do a procedure before. So they had to put me on medication to clean up my system.
I'm listening, go on.
Yeah, to clean up my system. So my system was all cleaned up. I had to go, urine and poop was all out of my system. Yeah. And then that's about 6:30 in the morning. So by 9 I was in surgery. After putting, of course, the anesthesia. I was knocked down the anesthesia. So about 3 hours of surgery. Totally corrective surgery. Trying to construct my vagina back.
Yeah.
And also constructing my rectum back. Very, very intense procedure. Took about 3 hours. Then there's a journey of healing, as I say, the physical healing. There's a way you're taught how to clean. Just about an hour. You have to keep cleaning every day and using medication.
Before you go there, I'm trying to understand it better, right?
Yeah.
All of us are, like most of the audience who watch this, we're all women. We all know what happens there.
Yeah.
So you wake up from surgery.
Yeah.
And there's not only been one doctor, there've been people, right? In your nether region. What is the feeling that you go through as a woman? Of course, there's pain.
There's pain, yeah.
Do you feel like, that you've been exposed? Yeah,
you feel like your privacy is, of course, exposed and all that. And then at the same time, you're scared. You don't know whether you're going to heal. You don't know whether your vaginal, there's an issue, there's a feeling for validation, affirmation. Whether even after the healing, in the healing process, and even to date, whether you're able to sexually satisfy your partner. Yeah. So we battle a lot of self-esteem issues in between, trying to figure out ourselves afresh again. Yeah. At times I even have moments when I'm driving and I feel like I think I've missed myself. And I've not. It's in the mind.
It's in the mind.
Yeah. At times I'm like, oh my God, I think it's come out. The poop, especially on my rectum. Yeah. And I've gone back to Dr. Kisa several, and he keeps telling me, Sharon, you're fine. You need, and he'd recommend to Nairobi Hospital, get a few exercises here and there just to tighten the rectum muscles. But I'm okay, I'm fine.
So what is that called? Is that called vag physio? I mean, I don't
physio,
know.
Yeah. It's called physio. Yeah. So most of it, Kinky, to be honest, is mentally.
It's mental.
Mentally. And then, there's nothing as nice as a woman's sexuality. Yes. There's nothing as satisfying as me and you, Pinky, being able to satisfy our husband sexually.
Okay,
or even our boyfriend sexually.
I'm going to stop you there. Because you said this, and I'm listening to you and absolutely agree with you. Yeah. I'm not downplaying anything that you're saying because it's extremely traumatic. But what about pleasing yourself? Forget about your partner.
Yeah.
What about pleasing yourself? Are you happy? Are you comfortable down there? Are you able to orgasm
Wow.
Does it?
Thank
Do
you.
you
Wow.
lose the
Yeah.
feeling?
You but let me be very honest with women who have suffered fistula, including me. I must say part of the healing, the mental healing and enjoying sexual intercourse is when our spouses are able to enjoy it.
Really?
That's it.
No, girl.
It's so unfortunate.
No.
Oh yeah, because we feel like
No.
no. Yes, if when you talk about it to those of us, the 20 of us who are in the
It's about you
Yes,
as well.
yes,
You.
yes.
Do you feel something?
yeah, there's satisfaction with us, yes. With me personally, yes, there is. There is.
Is it amazing?
But
Is it awesome?
not like before the fistula. Not like this. It's all the same.
What does that make you feel like?
Sad. Yeah, sad because
Now
the nerves
yeah.
around have been altered completely. You can imagine the surgery, the tear, and then they're trying to make things work. You know, the surgeon
Yes.
trying to reconstruct.
Yeah.
So it affects a lot of nerves around your vaginal lining and around the vaginal wall. So to be honest, most of the satisfaction for a woman, you know, healing from fistula is from herself, from her partner. Yeah.
So
Sadly, I wish I would, I'm just being honest, Pinky. That's it. Most of it comes on that from the other end. So this other, you know, when you see your spouse getting mentally, getting sexually satisfied, I think it gives a healing and it makes you also enjoy over time, sexual intercourse and all that.
You're not faking it?
You're faking it? Maybe we are faking it for this man. I get what you're saying, but to be honest, there's a difference completely. And sadly, as I said, Pinky, most of the ladies who have fistulas are single parenting now. So you'll find that most of us probably are not in any sexual activities and not engaged in any sexual intercourse because we're on our own.
Well, how's your skin gonna glow then? No, I'm kidding. It's a really serious issue. So you've now started a sort of like an NGO or a foundation around this.
Yeah, I'm a founder of Save a Woman Fistula Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, and my foundation, or our foundation rather, is a safe space for women to find mental healing. How?
Okay.
Because we connect, we share experience, and we relate. So in a way, we build relationships and connections that help us in healing. Part of what I do, even having my YouTube channel, being able to speak about it right here, is also helping me heal. Because
Yes.
when you talk about it over and over,
It's therapeutic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my foundation comes in to offer women, including myself, to get healing.
Yes.
And then also we are there to create awareness fistula. Stop the stigma about fistula. Let fistula be a household name, because we're not talking about fistula in our curriculums in high school or in primary school. I didn't know about fistula throughout law school, all the way till, you know, my advocate training program, till when I got it and I was told this is fistula. So most of us don't even know what fistula is. So this has my foundation has come in to create awareness fistula and stop the stigma. And also even the women who have fistula, like myself and those in the marginalized areas, can be able to do what? Reintegrate back to society. Because sadly, most women who have fistula are poor.
Really?
Yeah, most of us who have fistula are very, very poor.
And if it goes on for a long time, so you were lucky to be aware of your body, you were lucky to sort of say, no, something's wrong, and you were lucky to have access to, you know, the free screening and then, of course, to a doctor. But what happens when you can't? If you say, you know, it's especially, you know, women in the rural areas who probably don't have this access, probably don't have the knowledge, probably don't even want to talk about it. Like I said, we don't talk about down there. We don't talk about these things. We don't talk about, you know, going to the loo for a wee or, you know, for a poo. So how are they supposed to reach out, reach for help, or even acknowledge that there's something wrong?
Yeah, thank you, Ghelani, for asking that. Sadly, over 13,000 women in Kenya get fistula. Those are reported. Those are the ones who are reported.
Yeah.
How about those in the marginalized areas, the rural areas, where they cannot access social media or radio or any form of communication? So most women do have fistula, don't know what it is, get sidelined, get stigmatized, get completely shunned away, ostracized completely from the society.
Why would that happen?
Because
it's such a personal thing.
Yeah, constant leaking of urine and feces.
Okay.
And the society assumes that, you know, others assume that you're very dirty or unkempt, you're clumsy. Others assume that as a taboo, there's something off that you did. You need to search where your background. Maybe there's somebody you offended. You know,
Was
maybe it's
cursed you.
witchcraft, curses and all that.
Really?
Yes, that's how crazy it is. So you need to search, you know, so that Shan told her to go back to their homes, or they even put in a different room. And the essence of being an African woman is to childbearing and cooking for your family. So you stop cooking. You stop making, you know, your husband gets second, third, fourth wives, you know. You stop doing your duties as a wife. So slowly it gets into you, get into depression, and sadly even others even die in the process.
Yeah.
And there are those women who've lived it for 40 years. What they do is that the fourth degree is crazy. It's the worst tear, like I got. There are those who are in a position to, they have urine incontinence, where they laugh, they discharge urine, they cough, then they're doing their daily activities. You'll find that, hiya, this person is smelling urine after cleaning and being in the farm, in the shamba and all that. So depending on the degree, women are able to cope, some coping mechanism, how they feed. They reduce on the liquid levels if it's vesicovaginal. If it's both rectovaginal poop and urine at the same time, they reduce on the intake of foods, and they learn to cope. A lady lived with it for 40 years in Nyeri. There's another one who is part of the beneficiary of my foundation, lived with it for 11 years. Another one, 19 years. Being in a position to cope, thoroughly cleaning, yeah.
So is it not up to your gynecologist when he is delivering the baby to make sure this doesn't happen, and if it does, to stitch you immediately?
Sadly, we don't have trained personnel on fistula. Others are even misdiagnosed. Others don't even know that this lady is having fistula. So you'll find that because of unskilled labor, basically in terms of unskilled doctors who know this is fistula, keep misdiagnosing their patients. Others even go to the point of giving you antibiotics. Like one of us in our foundation was given, who lived with it for 19 good years. So eventually, yes, then we get help, and she was given surgery. She went through surgery, and now she's back to ship.
So when you say beneficiary of your foundation, you facilitate surgeries?
No. At the moment, anytime I create awareness fistula, they get back on YouTube, on comments on my Facebook pages. They text, or they let me know. I get back to them, and I guide them where to get help. Yeah, through they have to be patient. Normally, Kenyatta Hospital they have the free surgeries going on in partnership with Safaricom Foundation and other stakeholders that come in. So they get the surgeries, and then which start from time to time. My foundation basically creates awareness, and we're really hoping that we can be getting donors as well, so that we can get to the grassroots level and do it, and have people know about it and get help. Alternatively, we can also be able to get funding so that we can fund these women. We can actually sponsor them to also get surgeries.
And how much is the surgery?
So the surgery is very expensive. It's very expensive. About on privately, like I did, it cost me about 350,000. Then of course there's the additions costs for being in hospital. So you have to have probably like between 800, somewhere there about 800,000.
Wow. Okay. So for anybody watching and keen to support your foundation, how can they support you? As in, what do they need to do? Do they need to maybe speak to other women about, like, this is what fistula is? Or do they need to reach out to you? Like, what would be a best way to support your foundation?
The best way is to reach out to me. To reach out to me so that we have a plan of activity that we need to do. We also have a board. A board of trustees, of course, and goodwill ambassadors who've come on board, just to ensure that we're able to reach out, we're able to speak about fistula, we're able to restore the dignity of that woman whose self-esteem has gone down, by ensuring that they get corrective surgery, they get proper health care, and as well rehabilitate back to the society very comfortably.
So do you feel that this happened to you because you needed to find your purpose and start up this foundation?
Yes. At times I was so bitter with God. I'm like, God, how can one person? Exactly. I sought you. I prayed. I was faithful. I've been faithful to you for many years. Here I am, sciatica. Here I am, blood exchange. Then again, fistula. Like, this is just, why, God, why? Exactly. So I went through, in fact, at some point I thought, have I been bewitched?
Oh, wow. Really? When you thought that?
Trust me. I need to do prayers, like the right prayers, because anything that is godly should be, anything that is of God should be smooth. By the time so many bad things are happening, it's the enemy who's attacking you. So who is this who's trying to, so many things came into my mind. So at times again, I go like, it was a blessing in disguise.
So it was really godly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here I am now speaking about Fistula, getting God's favor to even be here in your show and being all over speaking about it on media and talking about it boldly, having women relate and calling me, telling me the way they are so inspired what I'm doing. And again, they also had Fistula. They've never shared about the experience for 11 years. And you know, and it's part of healing for them as well, the psychological part of it. So yeah, it's my purpose.
It's true.
I think it's my purpose, yes.
I think we go through very challenging times in
Yeah.
order to help other people with our stories. So you're doing such a great job by being able to be very open about such a sensitive topic, such a sensitive subject. And, you know, I'm throwing all sorts of questions at you, and you're openly answering them. So I'm grateful about
Thank
that.
you.
So let's talk about your 2 kids and what life's like with them.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about earlier, you know, is help, because we need help. And a lot of us have issues when it comes to nannies or caregivers for our kids. You said you have a wonderful caregiver.
Yes, I do.
Tell us about her.
Yeah, my nanny is called, she's called Janet. And my kids known her as Auntie. They
Yeah.
call her, that's Auntie Janet. They love her. She's very good with the kids. I must say she's awesome. The kids love her. She's very patient. She plays with them. I've had her for about 5 years now. And I've learned to just live with her. You know, she's understood me. I figured her out. I have figured her flaws, you know, and the challenges that comes along with living with her in the house. There's a way that we've struck a balance. She may not be too perfect with other things, but for as long as she's really nice with the kids and the kids are very comfortable in her space, and she's also in a way managed to embrace our space, and she's also very comfortable with the way things are. She likes to be taught. There are those people who, by nature, you cannot tell them to do things because they're a bit rude. How she embraces change, you know, being from the rural areas and back again to Nairobi, and telling her this is how things are done, this is how my microwave is cleaned, this is how I like my food, this is how vegetables should be cooked.
Yeah.
There's a way she used to cook them really, you know, but then I just figured it's
become
just a little
lush.
touch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So she I think also character goes a long way, and also attitude, and then just being able to embrace her to be part of the member of the family also comes in really.
Do you
really
think
well.
this is something that you learned after your episode, or like you said, you've been with her longer than when you went through? But do you feel like your episode changed you as a human being to be more tolerant of others?
Totally. Totally, especially the painful part. You know, people go through lots of stuff. I could have gone through, you know, health issues. Other people go through financial issues. So being able to just understand people the way they are, really, and tolerating them. Even the craziness of how you know, at times she has her moods and moments as well. So everybody does. I had a fistula. I'm going through a journey of healing. So yes, as you said, yes, it's given me room to tolerate, room to understand even my son's teachers in school and be able to be patient with them even as they deal with our young ones, and even with my colleagues and all that. Being very diplomatic, not just jumping into conclusions, learning to listen, learning to try and understand, learning not to judge, just, you know, being in a platform, in that level field where I have become more mature.
Well, sometimes life pushes us to be more mature.
Yes.
Do you feel that, you know, because it would have been very easy for you, Sharon, as a young girl, to say, oh, woe is me. Like you said, sciatica, my baby at 3 days old, had a whole blood transfusion. Is it fair? Is it, you would have fought with God and sort of just been a victim.
Exactly.
What made you shift that to be able to say, okay, you know what? This has happened to me. I'm going to start a foundation. And I'm going to start openly talking about it. And I'm also going to change my ways. What inside you shifted? Like, what was the self-talk, maybe? That's what I should ask.
Pinky, it's God. Pinky, whether, it doesn't matter who validates me or not, I am wonderfully and fearfully made standard. That is standard, and I'm beautiful standard. Believing in myself, you know, being able to understand myself and what I want, and being able to speak about it, it takes God. Then also there's that self-personal will that you need to initiate. Then God comes in. God has to help somebody who's willing as well. So yes, you know, setting goals, trying to figure out what I want to do, how I want to do it. Should I do it through a YouTube channel? Should I do it through what way can I come out and speak about it? And at that time I remember what triggered. I went to a salon in my hood, just in the hood where I stay, and there's a lady who stood up, and she's all wet on her skirt. And I'm like, Lord, wait, did I see right? She has fistula, you know, and she was so uncomfortable. You know, you could see she's uneasy. She's so disturbed. So I called the lady, the owner of the salon, and asked her. Then of course the lady's like, the client has been coming like 3 times now. Something discharging urine. And lots of it. So I even told the salonist, do you have a contact? Would you mind if I sit with her and have a conversation about fistula? Because she probably doesn't know what she's suffering from. They have normalized, you know, the way we normalized corona.
Like, this is me.
Yeah, exactly. So she's probably normal, exactly. She's normalized fistula.
Yeah.
So we managed to reach out to her, and then she got healing. So correct, you know, surgery in Machakos Level 5 hospital. And she's now fine. She's now in the process of healing, like, you know, the months of physical healing, psychological healing. Yeah. So that's what I realized, there's more to it. I need to talk about this. This is just too much. You can't have people living with it and normalizing it. It's not normal. It's not okay to lick urine and feces. It's not okay to be sharing your beddings with your partner and he's living, because it's too much for him. We have to talk about this. We have to normalize fistula to be, you know, you can get help. Life can go back to normal and all that. So that's my, I did size 8. That the first thing I did was in size 8, Reborn Rainbow TV. Minji, a program there. And from then on, I've been up and about, and I'm here in Pinkies.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharon. I think your story is indeed very inspiring. I think it's going to help a lot of people who are watching as well. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for being so open and honest. Sharon and I would love to hear from you. We'd love to know what you think about fistula, if you've ever heard of it before, or if this is the first time you're hearing about it. Also, when it comes to satisfying your partner, is it really only about your partner? Let us know. Make sure you comment. Sharon, thank you so much. I wish you well in all your endeavors, and I'll make sure that this community who's watching are also able to support your foundation in any way.
Thank you. Thank you. Just for more information, they can reach me out on Sharon Korir in my YouTube channel, and also Sharon Korir in Facebook and Instagram.
Sharon Korir. Thank you so much. And remember, we always teach you to unlearn. I think what we're trying to do with this episode is trying to make sure that you are comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. Unlearn not saying things because, you know, they're taboo. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again real soon. Bye.